Hi everyone, it's Roberta. Just showing you what my workspace is like. This is in my bedroom. Those were cards that were gifted to my mom, but she didn't have a place to keep them, so I kept them, put them up on my wall. Some of my craft space, some of the craft stuff, my shop light, and this little thing here is where I put my camera. I cut a hole in the little tomato box so that I'd be able to have the film go, be able to film through the hole. And my paintbrushes and pens and markers, pencils, my sponges, paints, stencils, all kind of doodads. Back in that corner, a lamp that gives off yellow light. My shop light here gives off a pink light, which is frustrating because I'd like it to show off white, but it doesn't. My gesso, my homemade texture paste, my paints, more of them, scissors, and my very messy, crafty space on my table, but that's okay because you know what? This is where the beauty happens and the fun and the therapy happens, so it's all good. And then I have 4 of these excess paint books that I work on. Little here, little there. See if I can find pretty pages. It doesn't look like much, but the more you add to it, it's interesting to use them as backgrounds on things. There's one. That's one of the newer ones. This is my second one. This is number 3. This is number 2. And starting to get better at it when I'm putting things together at this point, more organized. But number 2, it's still the beginning, so this is when I did gold and blues and purples in index card and squeezed the paints out, and so the paints went here. This is composition book number 4. This is one of my newer ones. This is one I did that purple splatter on, that extra paint from the background I did yesterday. And I also use my fan brush to get these unique little paint swipes. I dip it in the paint and add it. And then this is my very first excess paint book. It was actually my grandkids' homeschooling book. And this one was Cheyenne's. That's how she used to write her name. This one I used to do some homeschooling with them. And you can tell by the way this is all put together that I just slapped down whatever was left over. Wasn't really trying to make anything interesting out of it. And this is, the flowers are from the stencils that I used. So the stencil had a lot of paint on it, so this blue in the background is actually off of the stencil, not through the stencil. And see, these aren't that interesting. I'm getting a little better there. And it's still not that interesting in this book. I like some of the color combinations and stuff, but not too interesting in here. So that is the first one. Purple is number 2, orange number 3, and pink number 4. And I try to put all my extra paint in there so that I'm able to come up with something interesting for background. This is the front of my hair dryer. I took it apart because it wasn't working, and it's some kind of a metal grate, and it's got these little ridges. There's 9 of them. And it's interesting to add texture to my paper. And that's how I got these really interesting pink lines. And what I did with the paint on here is I took 3 different colors of pink paint, laid it over here on my craft desk, and then I didn't mix them. I just brought this over and just kind of did this and then put it down on the paper to get that texture. Anyway, I'm just giving you a little heads up of what my craft space looks like. That's a window outside my apartment. We're in Florence, Kentucky. This is my desk trash bin. It is a Halloween bucket. And it glows in the dark. So it sits here on my desk in the sun. And then at night it glows. So it's interesting. It's a lot of fun. Alright, I'm going to shut this down and then start it back up so I can go ahead and make another of the Bluebird Sparkle ATC. The background's already done. I had done a sheet of it and got 3 out of it. And one is traded to Sarah O'Neill on the ATC Trades, Tips and Techniques Facebook group page. And so I was going to do another one because I wanted one to keep. So I'm going to do another one today. So I'm going to stop this now. Oh, the other thing I was going to explain is this is a underarm deodorant roller container. And I use these 3 paint colors, a light and a dark teal and a lighter teal. Mix the paint. And I forced the roller ball out of this. And after I forced the roller bar out, I added the paint inside here. And now I can just use this to roll on the paint. So that's what I'll be doing in a minute. Back in a second.